Hello everybody and welcome to IT and Business. We're going to be looking at the syllabus for the class. The syllabus can be located by clicking on this link on the left-hand sidebar in your Blackboard course shell. Once you get in there, you're going to see that there's a file attached to the syllabus posting. Click on that to download it and open it within your browser. You can just view it if you want. You can download it and save it. I do get students that print it. That's not necessary, but the one thing I'm going to tell you right now is I do nothing on paper in class. Except I put my coffee on a tissue here so I don't have a ring on the table. But I don't distribute paper. I don't have you turn paper in or do anything with forms. That's just my pattern. And believe it or not, for the 15, 16 years I've been teaching, that's been my policy ever since then. And you can imagine 15 years ago when I would tell people I only accept email assignments, they were like, well, how do you do email? But things have changed, right? So we're going to be using Blackboard to do a lot of that stuff. But the syllabus is there for you to refer to. I'm going to step through it section by section because I'm required to, both by Gateway and by law. And you can think of this as kind of like a guide or a contract or kind of like how we're going to do things in this class that you can refer back to. I do reserve the right at any time to adjust the contents of the syllabus while the course is going, in which case I would inform you. Like, so for example, somebody might go, hey, you have the wrong course number in there. I'm like, oh, you're right. I'll save it and re-upload it, and that would be a revision. But if I have a major change in policy, I would also let you know. So my name is listed here at the top, and does anybody want to take a stab at how to say my first name?
Takis.
Takis, close enough. Anybody ever buy those chips that they have? Takis, yeah. That's actually, when you say that, then people get it, right? But a lot of people don't even know what those chips are. But you can get them at Woodman's. Yeah, they're horrible, but kids love them. They're kind of like Doritos on overload. And yes, I'm recording this into my video, and I don't care, and it's going on YouTube. Yeah, it's very salty and very acidic. But that's how you say my name in Greek. It's Takis. But Greek is a weird language, so if you're talking directly to somebody, you omit the S from the end of their name. So if somebody was talking to me, they say Taki, right? And if they're talking about me, they say Takis. Now don't ask me how, but when I was a young kid going to kindergarten, I went to school at 5 years old for kindergarten, not knowing a word of English, because I grew up in a Greek neighborhood. Yeah, believe it or not. My whole extended family lived there and about 10 other Greek families, all on the north side of Milwaukee. We even had our own store, a church, all that kind of stuff. But I walked into kindergarten and the teacher called out my name, totally said it wrong, and she said, hon, how do you say your name? And I got a picture of this older lady with a very strong southern accent. And I'm like, Taki. And she's like, Taiki. Like Bikey, Mikey, Taiki, right? And so that stuck while I was a young kid. Everybody called me Taiki. In fact, even up through high school, a lot of my friends did. And then when I kind of went into the more professional world, it was like, well, everybody calls me Taiki. Why don't we just call me Ty? People get that. I hate explaining the whole name thing, but that's kind of the story behind it. All right. So if you guys need to find me here on campus, this semester is kind of a little weird for me because I don't have a lot of face-to-face classes. Most of my classes are online. But if you are looking for me, I'm usually in the faculty offices, which are kind of like you go down the hall and turn left to go to the doors. And right before you go out those doors on the right-hand side is the door to the office. And if the door is closed, you can always knock. If you do need to come and see me for any reason, what I recommend is that you email or call first and set an appointment so that we can make sure that we can see each other. Now, seeing each other doesn't have to just happen in person, right? You guys ever use Hangouts or FaceTime or any of those kind of technologies? I do a lot of meetings like that too, so you don't even have to come to campus often.
So what's the best way to contact you? Email or?
Well, that's an excellent question. Thank you for asking it, actually. Email, I would say, is my preferred form of communication, and really for a couple of different reasons, and kind of true in many organizations. The one reason is you can see it, and then you can take your time and think about what you're going to say. But the nice thing about an email message, right, if one of you guys sent me a question about an assignment, is I can rifle off a response that's typed out, right? And rather than you going, well, I talked to him, I forgot what he said. Did he say turn it in Tuesday or Wednesday? Right? And if you didn't write it down, but with email, you just go back and you can look at it, you have a record of it. The weird thing is, though, that's not always the best way that people learn things. Not everybody learns things well by just reading something on a page, right? You guys, and I kind of, you know, even though I'm like a generation or two beyond you guys, right? I'm technically a baby boomer, believe it or not. Last year, baby boomers. I have the mindset where, for me, I'm very screen focused, so I like videos, right? That's why I'm recording one right now. In fact, the very first time I recorded one, I put it out of my course shell. I was amazed that even the people that came to class sat down and watched it again. I'm like, you watched that video? You were in the class. Why'd you watch? He goes, well, it just helps. I'm like, well, good. So now I record just about everything I do in the classroom, especially if I'm lecturing or something. Or if you take like a programming class with me, we do homework, I record all that stuff and I put it out on the internet. So that format really works well. We have some tools that we use also for communication. And you'll notice when you go into your course shell right at the top, there's like a purple icon that says Online Meeting Room, or IT and Business Online Meeting Room. And that's a piece of software that's built into Blackboard called Blackboard Collaborate. That tool is kind of like Google Hangouts. So we can like video chat, voice chat, text chat. I can share my screen, you can share your screen. And that's the kind of things I use it for. So sometimes I'll use it right in the classroom. So like if you're doing something on your screen, and well, you can't like pick up the desktop, come up here and plug it into the monitor, right? So I just fire up that tool, I have you share your screen, and then I can pump it through here, and then everybody can see it on their screens too.
Can we like use that at home too on our home desktops?
Oh, you know, absolutely. It's browser-based. It does require a couple of plugins for Chrome when you first install it, but once the plugins are installed, it's pretty seamless. Yes, but it uses a different plugin because they have a different plugin structure. But yeah, you can use, I think, any major browser with it. If you've ever done screen sharing with Google Hangouts, anybody ever done that?
Yeah.
You probably already have the plugin installed, but it uses the same tool. All right. All right, let's move on to the course stuff. So this is IT and Business. This is a first semester IT course. It's shared across 3 different programs: CSS, networking, and software development. So a required first semester course. There are no prerequisites for this course, so you don't have to take any other courses before you take it. And there's no co-requisites, meaning another class you must take at the same time. It's a 3-credit class. What that equates to is 72 hours of contact time between online and face-to-face in the classroom. The rule of thumb, you guys, when you take a college class is however many hours you spend in the classroom, the average is 2 to 3 times that amount outside of the classroom per class. I want you to think about that really carefully. That's a lot, right? If you think of 72 hours, it's almost like 2 full-time work weeks. And then if you're adding 2 to 3 times that, even if you just double it, 140 hours, you really will need that amount of time to do your readings, to do your homework, and be prepared for class. IT and Business, you know, it's a first semester class. It's not like advanced PHP or something that I'm teaching right now, where we do like a programming problem where we'll work on the same problem for like 3 weeks writing code, and there's like 5,000 lines of code, you know, that kind of thing. It's not that kind of a course. But when you do get to those advanced IT courses, you can expect to spend a lot of time, especially if you're in the coding environment. I don't know what networking and CSS is like, but anybody in software, right? When you guys get Alan or Saad in the classroom, or Wendy, and you start to get some of those programming assignments, it's not unusual to spend like an hour or 2 on each assignment to write the code. Sometimes longer if you're having problems. Is that abnormal? No, it's not. In fact, you know, when you go to school, I remember a philosophy class I took once, and it was a like Monday, Wednesday, Friday kind of class, right? And the instructor would be like, okay, it's Monday. Okay, read pages 1 through 500, submit a 5-page paper by Wednesday, after a 1-hour class. And I was what? Yeah, but in the whole semester kept going like that. So by the time we were done, we read like 10,000 pages, hypothetically, but of course a lot of people didn't, right? But sometimes, you know, you kind of get involved that way. So we're here Tuesday from 11:40 to 1:40, which means we're kind of straddling the lunch hour. So what I suggest to you guys is eat before you come, so your stomach is not growling. Real handy tip, I mean, our cafeteria downstairs is open from 11 to 12:30, I think, for lunch. So if you came at 11, you can get like a $5, $6 cheap lunch. It's pretty good. So I'm just putting it out there so you know. But I recommend they eat before you come. Somebody asked, like, what's up with beverages? All right, policy is no beverages in the classroom, especially ones with open tops, you know. Yeah, okay. So just bring, you know, if you bring a beverage, something covered that won't spill. You know, if you bring food, you know, if you guys ever had a cousin sub that, you know, always smells like onions or something like that, just be mindful of something being too stinky. I did bring cookies today, so I like my people to have, like, you know, some encouragement. Yes, you will have to earn your cookies though. So the start and end dates for the course in January, and we finish pretty early. For those of you that are in certain programs, so like Andre, you're in the web program. The web program, for example, doesn't stop in the summer. So if you're a web student, summer is an active semester. For networking and software and CSS, well, no, not technically. That's if you can take classes in the summer, but you don't have to. That's how it works. It's probably in your best interest to take them if you want to finish quickly. All right. All right, we have some other important dates here. The first one, the financial aid census date. I am very happy to say that all 19 of you have passed that hurdle. What that basically is, if you weren't here by next week, you're automatically dropped if you don't show for the first 2 days of class. This is kind of an interesting class because we are face-to-face, but we are in what we call a blended format. 2 hours online, 2 hours face-to-face. So if you logged into Blackboard and communicated with me, that would kind of count as partial participation and presence in the classroom, because you know what happens sometimes is life, right? Your car breaks down. That happened to me the other day. I'm driving like my backup car, the one I parked for the winter. Long story. But stuff happens, right? And you can't make it to class. If that does become the situation for you, the first thing I ask that you do is just send me a really quick email saying, hey, I'm not going to make it to class. My car broke down. My dog ate it. I got called into work. You know, whatever. I have no money and can't pay for the bus. You know, you don't even have to give me a reason. Just let me know, okay? Because we can work with that. If you don't communicate with me, that's where the issues come in. So just give me a heads up, it's kind of a courtesy, that you're not going to be here, and then I'll make sure that you're up to speed with what you may have missed. If you guys really hate this class, right? The last day for you guys to drop and be able to get some of your money back, I really don't know what all the rules are. You can talk to Student Services about that. It was the end of the month on January 28th. After that point in time, I get a drop period. So when we get to the end of January, I start looking at my grade book and go, wow, this person never showed up, never emailed me, never logged into Blackboard, hasn't turned anything in. I've emailed them 5 times and they're not responding. Guess what? I'm going to drop you, right? And really it's to your benefit, because then you are withdrawn from the course, and then on your transcripts, you don't get like an F, right? So that's something to consider. If you guys are getting to the point where you think it's not going to go well, first of all, talk to me, right? We can always work something out, but you're better off not having that F on your transcript. The only way to get rid of it is to retake the course. A W, a withdraw, is not so bad. In fact, I used to use that as a strategy when I was a student, because you know, if you go to a traditional university, you pay for full time, and anything above 12 credits, you don't pay for the courses. So I would I'll take 3 or 4 extra courses, stick around for the first few weeks, do some of the homework, get a feel for it, and then drop it, and then come back next semester and I got half the homework done. That was a strategy, and a lot of university students would do that. Gateway does not work that way. We will have a midterm in this class, so we will have a midterm exam when we get into the middle of February. And then I will look at all the work that you've done up until that point and give you a grade. Midterm grades, you guys need to know this, do not stick on your permanent record. It is very conceivable that you had stuff going on in your life and you maybe got like a D or an F for midterm and can still get a B or an A for the final. So don't freak out when midterms roll around. It's just like a snapshot in time of where you are right now. So I always let people know that, not part of your permanent record. If you need to withdraw, the last day that you have the opportunity to do that is March 27th for this class. So I don't expect you to memorize this stuff, but it's in the syllabus whenever you need it, and you can always talk to Student Services or talk to me and we can get that information. So those of you that are brand new to Gateway, I do want to point out that we do have a student handbook, and they put little links in the syllabi that they make us throw in. So if you guys need to know what all the formal policies are, that's the spot to do it. You can, I think, still get physical copies of the handbook over at Student Services, but my thinking is why, just pull down a PDF and just look at it that way, get the information you need. If you're not sure that you're getting the right info, contact somebody. Gateway people are more than happy to help. All right, let's move on to like the course specifics now. So here on the second page, you're going to see a reiteration of the same stuff that was at the top of Unit 0 in the shell. So it tells you what the course is about. It says this course is a basic introduction to information technology and how it impacts our lives. Well, that's pretty broad, right? It's a pretty broad statement. It will focus on how IT professionals implement industry tools and applications throughout businesses. And I'm going to add there, and organizations, right? Because Gateway is an organization, we're not really a business, right? But IT is huge here, huge. Students will learn proper terminology as well as industry trends and concepts. Absolutely. One thing we do hear from our employers is that a lot of times students come out with IT skills and they seem to be completely ignorant of how a business operates. So we're not going to teach you how to be an accountant in here or how to do a profit and loss statement, but you should know that every organization, no matter how small now, IT is, if you're running a gas station, you got IT, right? Your cash register, your card payment machines, everything is IT. That's why you guys picked the right career path. It's not going to go away. All right, the competencies, these are the things that you guys are going to learn. So you're going to apply IT terminology properly, right? We'll see. Classify hardware and their functions, operating system, utility, application softwares, learn how to create presentations. You guys have all done PowerPoints before, right? All right, so you'll have to do that. Learn a little bit about networking, basic business organizations, that you will learn about. Work function areas of IT, security needs, and ethical and legal issues. So, pretty kind of generic list. And we're going to try to get through, if not the whole textbook, most of it. Kind of depend on our progress. But my anticipation is we'll at least get up to chapter 13, is how I'm looking at it right now. Gateway has this core ability list, and you know what? All higher institutions of learning have lists like this that say, despite what you're learning in your course or in your program, you should be able to learn these things while you're at school. And Gateway takes them pretty seriously, especially as we apply things to the course. So I want you just to look at those really quick. So act responsibly, sure, makes sense. Communicate clearly, demonstrate computer skills. You notice that computer skills are what they consider a core ability. So even if you were in the food service program here, you still have to know how to use a computer. Why? Because you have to get on Blackboard to turn in your homework. You got to do email, those types of things. Job seeking skills, math, yes, you have to take math. Sorry, IT people. And I chuckle because I between like my bachelor's degrees and my master's degree, I got enough math credits where I can also teach math on a college level. Yeah. So if you guys go for like a master's degree in computer science, I had to do like 21 credits, like calculus, discrete math, all this like really weird Yeah, right. So math is important. But then I want you to look at, some of these other ones here. So develop job-seeking skills. We'll try to coach you as you go, but as you get to the tail end of your program, that's going to get a little more heavy. If you're in the web program and you end up in my capstone class, the web project management, or my internship class, we go through your resumes, we set up mock interviews, we tell you how to dress, how to talk, you know what the general rule of thumb is? Be nice.
Yeah.
Take a shower. Show up. You'd be surprised how many people don't shower. Okay, respect others as members of a diverse society, right? I think that's really important. Think critically and creatively, work cooperatively, and value learning. So these are really kind of generic, broad strokes, but you know what? It is really more this list that will get you a job than the stuff that you learn up above. Right? Ultimately, that's why you guys are here, right? You want to have a good life?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Here's our textbook information. Let's talk about the textbook a little bit. They threw us a little bit of a curveball. I got an email back in November when they put this stuff out on WebAdvisor for registration, and there's that little book link that you get. And I go in there, I'm like, ebook only. I'm like, I hate ebooks, unless they're PDFs, right? But that's what we're stuck with. So they're not making print copies right now, although I know that if you go out online, you can find physical copies if you really want one. Yes.
Yeah,
Do they have them now down in the bookstore?
this is what I ended up with.
Like a binder?
Oh, it's a binder copy.
Yeah, but I got it.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. Well,
If you gotta have it on paper. There are if you purchase them. They don't give them out. Now I'm gonna give you guys a little tip, and I'm gonna close the door to do this. And I'm gonna pause the recording. Right. Now I'm recording again. But what I did to get my copy of the book, because I haven't taught on this version of the textbook, is I had to go to a website called Vital Source. So I'm going to go to it right now. And it's just vitalsource.com. So this is one way you can get it. You can also get it through the bookstore. They have a way to get it. And once you're signed in, it basically just pops up on your screen like this. It goes into your library. And then you get this ebook reader. Right? The whole book is online. Now you might love this, you might hate it. All right. I have my personal opinions. I tend to be more on the hated side, only because I'm used to ebooks and other formats, predominantly PDF, right? Because I like a PDF because I can search it easier and I can scroll through the page. I just like the tool better. This is, for me, is a little cumbersome, but this is what I have. And I'm not about to go out and get an illegal PDF for myself. Being in the position that I'm in, it's not worth it, to save like $50. And usually we can get them free from the publishers anyhow. But this is the format. So one place where you can get your book is on vitalsource.com. I don't know what the price is, but I know that you have the option either to rent the book for the semester or to buy it outright. It's up to you what you want to do. My feeling for this class is I would probably rent it, right? And if you go out online and you search the ISBN number from the syllabus, so if you look at wherever my syllabus came up, is it actually in the PDF? All right, where's the syllabus? I guess I'll have to open it again. So many tabs, I don't know which one it is. But if you just take this ISBN number, copy that and paste it in and do a search on that, you're going to find a million different ways to get it. This first week, it isn't critical that you have the book. Next week, going into the third week, you have to have it. The one nice thing about ebooks is a lot of times when you search something online, very often they'll give you the first chapters for free. So it's feasible that you might not have to buy the book right away, but you do need to get it. So, because our homework, a lot of our homework in this class will be based on the case studies and questions and stuff that are at the end of the chapters.
So we just buy the books online.
You can buy it online, and if you want help, you know what I would do if you're confused with that process at all is I would just go to the bookstore and say, how do I get the book?
Yeah, that's
And then they'll show you, and they'll be glad to help you because then they're making the money on it, you know. But I would also shop around because there's really a good chance that you might be able to get like a physical copy or a binder copy.
that's what I was trying to find. Is it an online copy?
They give it online now, the digital format.
Yeah.
Binders.
Yeah, and you know what? It's kind of weird at first, but you know the truth is, like even with VitalSource, I can load it up on my phone, my tablet, my laptop. You know, whatever I'm comfortable. I'm not good reading on my phone, but a tablet or bigger is fine. If you hate reading on screens, you get a binder copy like that. I mean, really, you're just paying for the photocopying. That's what it is. All right. All right. So get the book. That's kind of the long and short of it. Next thing we're going to talk about, and then we're going to take a 5-minute break. And I feel you guys getting anxious, and I'm feeling the same way. So, as far as required materials, this class is wonderful because really all you need is access to a computer of some sort that can get on the internet. And then you can pretty much do anything you need to do. Really what we're going to be doing in this class is email, getting on Blackboard, documents, spreadsheets, PowerPoints. That kind of covers it, folks. So nothing really fancy or tricky. And I'm hoping for most of you, you're relatively familiar with those pieces of software. And not to belittle whatever your knowledge is, but I'm going to show you ways to get Microsoft Office, both online, download. We're going to explore all the Google app stuff, which you guys are probably already familiar with. And I'll even give you more options than that, just so you are as flexible as possible. And the rule of thumb for IT is, don't be narrow-minded and think that I'm just using Microsoft Office and that's it. Or I'm just using Google Docs and that's it. Right? Truth is, you should try all of it. Because how can you either like something or be opinionated on it if you haven't actually played it, right?
Yeah.
So when I first came here, this school was so PC centric. Still is, right? We're doing everything on PC. I'm like, well, what's wrong with a Mac? You know, I was working as a freelance web designer. What platform do you think I was working on? I was working on Macs. I wasn't, I do both, but so you can't really be narrow-minded, and then get these people going, well, Macs are useless. They cost twice as much, and they're half as good. I'm like, have you ever owned one? Right? Any Mac people here? Okay. And I always say, have you ever owned one? Right? Unless you've owned one and used it in a productive way, you really don't know what you're missing out on. It is a superior user experience in many ways, and the longevity of the equipment. So I buy a PC, I'm lucky to get 5 years out of it before it either falls apart or it becomes obsolete. Right? I had a Mac G4 I bought in 1999 that I was using up until 2013, and then I sold it and got $600 for it because it had a 23-inch cinema display. But yeah, people snatch them up. So it's just different. So and I'm not judging. I'm just kind of giving you a thing. Now, normally when you look at a lot of instructors' syllabi, and I want to say one big thing before we take our break, right? So you're working on a computer. Where do you store your files?
Flash drive.
Who said flash drive? No cookie for you.
Oh!
I've been a teacher for many years. Flash drives, they're cool. But this is about as useful as a floppy disk, folks. And just as disposable. I got one maybe 10 years ago, and it cost my wife $125. She bought it as a Christmas present, and it was 64 gig. And at the time, that was a lot, right? First week I had it, left it in my pocket, went through the wash, done. Or every time I teach a class and somebody's using one, plugged into the machine, right? Class is done, people go. One flash drive, 2 flash drives, 3 flash drives. People forget them all the time. So the only way I use a flash drive if I really carry them, see what I do? They're on my keys, right? So, but I still have the problem where I can put this in there and forget about it. So if you're really using a flash drive, what I would recommend is like attach some like pink ribbon to it and tie it to your waistband or something, or like a bungee cord or something. But don't forget them. Better yet, don't even use them at all. You don't need to use them. Why? Tell me the alternative. Dropbox, Google Drive, Box, OneDrive, there's a gazillion. Yeah. Use online cloud storage, people, because no matter what happens, you're not relying on some physical device to store your work that can be destroyed, stolen, lost, magnetically erased. You put it out on Google's cloud, it replicates to like who knows how many servers across the planet. It would take a complete destruction of the planet almost to completely destroy your data. So that's why you use a cloud. All right, 5-minute break. You guys know where the bathrooms are? Down the hall. There's also water vending machines on the first floor by the elevators. If you think you can hustle all the way to the Student Life Center and get a coffee and come back, you're welcome to. And now we're gonna finish up this talk on the syllabus when we get back. All right, now that you guys are back, we're going to move on to probably some parts of the syllabus that will be a little bit more important to you in the long term in terms of your success. And that is to really figure out how I do things in class, because it is a little bit atypical compared to a lot of instructors, especially on how I grade things. All right, the way that I grade things is I use what I call a 100-point system, meaning you have 100 total possible points that you can earn in this class. So every point on an assignment is worth a percentage of your grade. So if I had a 5-point assignment, it's 5% of your grade. So let's say by not turning in that assignment, it's worth 5 points. The best you're going to come out of the course with is a 95. Right? A lot of the assignments are what I call low stakes, meaning 1, 2, 3 points. Every once in a while, we'll have a quiz. Quizzes are 2.5 points, 2.5 points. Midterm exam is 5 points. Final exam is 10 points. All right? I'm not a huge fan of testing. I'm going to tell you that right now. However, there's a lot of concepts and terminology and stuff like that in this class that you kind of have to learn. So my approach to testing is maybe a little bit more different, yeah, right, that's not even a phrase, right, is a little different than how some instructors do it. Some instructors will give you tests that are difficult, frankly, right, where it doesn't really match up with your readings, or you really have to extrapolate a lot. What I do in my testing, my approach is I want to make sure that you get the basic concepts. So we might learn, let's say, what a network is, right? And then I might give you like a multiple choice question. It's like, you better know what a network is. And a network is something you see on television. Wrong answer, right? So if you answered that one wrong, you know what? You deserve to get, a low grade on it. So, because I'm not going to like challenge you to the point where you won't be able to find the answer. The other thing that I should tell you is when I have quizzes and exams, they're open note, open book, open internet. Use any tool you want, phone a friend, I don't care. But chances are you won't have the time. If you find yourself having to not recall it from memory really quick, chances are you don't know it. So what do? What all IT people do that work professionally. They Google, right? And if you're not, you're an idiot. You're not an idiot for not knowing it, you're an idiot for not taking tools that are sitting in front of you to find it. That's what makes you an idiot. And even then, you're not really an idiot. That's kind of mean, right? You are less than optimally performing. How about that? Yeah, well, but that's what IT people do. If I don't know how to solve a problem, I mean, not everything is in a book, and if it's in a book, it's 5 years old already. No good. So, I had this friend of mine who works as the sysadmin over at the Union Grove School District, and he is a Gateway grad. He went through the networking program. And he's like one of those guys like me, where for my family, I'm the IT guy. So somebody's computer breaks or they have a question, It's like, I'm getting this thing, I think it's a virus, can you help me? And I'm like, he came up with a policy that he'd get all his friends calling him all the time. And this guy's name, by the way, is Miko, right? The weird Serbian name. And every time somebody calls him and asks him a question, the first thing he says to him, he says, Google before Miko. You Google it because that's what I'm going to do. So why should I Google it for you? Don't you have a computer? Yeah, there's the answer. It doesn't work, right? It's broken. All right, so 1 point per percentage point. So if you look at our breakdown here in terms of the relative percentages for the course, you guys are going to have 15% of your grade. Curiously matches up with 15 weeks of our semester, where you earn 1 point for kind of basically being present, interactive, and doing stuff. If you guys show up and talk once in a while and aren't sleeping and are kind of nice, you're going to get all those points. So that's 15 points that should be in the can. Where you really see reductions with that is if you don't show up and you're not doing stuff, you're not communicating. And then I distribute those points. I give you 7 points by midterm and then 8 points by the final. But for me, those are 15 points that are just kind of gimmies by just being here. All right? The assignments, meaning like regular weekly assignments, and those will be like discussion board things, papers, presentations, whatever. It'll be 60% of your grade, so 60 points. And then quizzes, exams will total up to 25. So all that equals 100 points. I like this system. It's a little weird, right? Because like if you turn in something that's a 1 point assignment, so your score might be 1 point, like if it's good, right? And if it's, not quite so good, it might be like 0.85. Or, it'll be like weird points like that, where a lot of other teachers will give you like, this point's worth 300 points. And then it's weighted, and I have no idea what the impact is really on my grade. I like this system because for every point you lose, you know exactly, it's like, man, I only got a 3 out of 10 on my final, so the best I'm going to get is an A minus. There's no guessing, right? All of those points would then transfer to this grading scale that we have here, but you guys need to know something really important about the IT programs, especially those that are new. In the IT program, when a course is a prerequisite or a core course, so if you're in an IT program, this is a core course. It's not available, to like the culinary program. You have to get a grade of C or better for it to count towards your degree. If you end up with 73 points, that's a C minus. Guess what? You got to take the course again. And we don't want that, right? From a financial aid standpoint, you're successful, so the money is okay. But in terms of like getting your degree, you got to get past that threshold. If you're in risk of not crossing it, I'm going to try to work with you to get there. All right? So if you guys feel like you're falling behind or off track or whatever it is, I want to tell you right now, reach out to me. We can find a way to make it work. All right? Most of the time. But you have to put in the effort. All right. Let's talk about the quizzes and exams. Okay, 2 exams, midterm and a final. 4 quizzes will be required. So there'll be 2 before midterm and 2 after midterm. I think our first quiz is not next week, but the week following. I don't remember off the top of my head, but something like that. I'm not going to ever test you on something we did not cover in class. So mostly it'll be focused on the content in the textbook or anything that I brought into the class and included in the shell or discussed. Don't worry, it won't be anything particularly tricky. The exams will happen within Blackboard themselves. My typical pattern for this class and all the classes that I teach is we do not take the tests and quizzes in class. I don't waste the time. I'd rather play YouTube videos or something, I mean, real frankly, here's my mindset with that, right? If I give you a final exam, that takes a whole class.
Yeah.
I give you midterm, well, that's 2 classes gone. Throw in a few quizzes, that's 4 classes gone. All of a sudden, we can't cover any material. My thinking with that is, you take it online when it's convenient for you, and I'll give you a time frame. It's usually a 1-week time frame that you can take that quiz or exam. and you do it online with your browser. The only catch is make sure whenever you start to do that, you have a good internet connection. And then if you're like looking stuff up because you can't remember it, like, God, I gotta Google this really fast. Make sure you stay active in your browser too, because what happens is if you let your browser sit idle while you're taking a test for too long, and I think it's 5 minutes without like moving the mouse or clicking or something, it'll time you out and you'll lose your progress. If that does happen, don't freak out. It's not the end of the world. Just email me, I'll reset it. Okay? All right. None of the stuff, obviously, can be done after the end of the class. So let's talk about late work. I have some interesting late work policies, too. Whenever I put an assignment out there, it'll have a due date. The exception for due dates will be extra credit assignments have no due dates beyond the end of the class. So if I put anything extra credit out there, you can turn it in whenever you want and get the points, right? So I will have a few extra credit opportunities. Usually I give a lot more in my programming classes, especially for people who are overachievers and things to do. But also as sometimes ways to work around doing a final project. This class does not have a final project per se, so you guys are okay that way. Anything that's turned in late will be subject to a late penalty, and that's subjective on my part. My general rule of thumb, which is the fourth bullet, yep, is if something is more than 2 weeks late, the most you can possibly earn is half the points. Now, if you're in the habit of doing everything late, it doesn't take a genius to figure out if you're only getting half the points all the time, you're not going to pass, right? Doesn't matter how well you do the work. Here's my little catch though, the bullet above it, bullet number 3. And I do this in all my classes with some variation, but basically, if you're working on an assignment and it's in progress and you're like, man, you know, my water heater blew up, or, you know, I got called into work and I couldn't finish. I got it mostly done, right? Turn in your work in progress before the due date. And if you do that, you have 1 extra week to finish without a late penalty. You miss that deadline, that's off the table. My rationale is this: I want to see that you're actively doing something and not just blowing it off. Despite that, I understand people have lives and things going on, right? You guys, for the most part, are a younger crowd, but when in my evening classes, when I teach a lot of the web people, we have people that are sometimes my age, right? And they got, you know, there's heavy stuff going on in people's lives. And I'm not judging, I'm just saying, I can tell you, I've had divorces in class, car accidents, deaths of the family, you name it, things happen. And sometimes in droves, right? So contact me. If you don't contact me, I can't help you out. One nice thing I also add here, which you guys probably cheer about, right? I don't know if people still do this, is this get out of homework free coupon. Can only be used once. To use it, you must read the instructions inside the coupon. Here's the catch with it. You can use it once. You basically grab a screenshot of that. I'll show you how to do it, no worries. But you basically do a screen grab of that coupon and turn it in place of whatever assignment you want it to replace. But it's only worth a maximum of 2 points. So if you turn it in for a 5-point assignment, you're getting 2 points. If you turn it in for a 2-point assignment, you're getting 2 points. Right? If you turn it in for a 1-point assignment, you get 1 point. Right? Now, I strategically, when we get to the end of the semester, we'll have several like 2-point assignments at the end. So like when you guys are like racing to get stuff done for other classes and you got finals and projects and papers, you're like, man, I'm not going to get to that last one. I'll just throw the coupon at it. Right? I will not automatically do it for you, though. You have to request it. Only use it once. But it's there. 2 points is 2 points, man. Don't let it slide. So, all right. If you do get into one of these circumstances, and I'm gonna give you a scenario here. I had one lady in class. Wasn't last year, the year before, end of the spring semester. She got sick with cancer. Had to go in for surgery. This is like 2 weeks before the end of the thing. She got done with surgeries, back at home recovering, working on her stuff. She's an online student. And then she gets in a car accident. And her daughter dies in a car accident. And she's horribly disfigured. But she was an A student up until that point. I didn't flunk her because she didn't finish. I gave her an incomplete. Now, her case was very extreme. I don't wish any of that misery upon anybody, but stuff happens. If you're in a situation where you're on track and then something throws you off, you've been a good student and you just can't get the stuff done, you talk to me, I will set up an incomplete for you to give you more time to finish your work. But if you read the circumstances there, the guideline is 80% of coursework must be complete successfully. You know, it's kind of a judgment call on my part, frankly, but I do that for people all the time. But I can't do that if I don't know what's going on, so you got to communicate. All right, participation's important, and a lot of the stuff that we're going to do in this class, and we're going to kind of get busy on it pretty soon here, is going to involve interaction, right, and talking about things and sharing things. That's a lot of what this class is about. Because believe it or not, that collaborative type of sharing teaches you a lot that you might not pick up otherwise. So it's important to participate. How do you get the best grade in this class? Turn in your homework and show up. So let me give you an example. If I give you an assignment, what I will usually do, and why don't I actually pull one up here just as an example. So I'm going to go to Unit 0, and we have a couple things that we need to do here. And we have a syllabus acknowledgement, an introduction we have to do, but there's also this article reflection, which is going to be the first of many. But this is what my assignment postings will look like. I always color my assignment links blue, and unlike a lot of instructors, I'm not in this mode where they have these like little icons that pop up in front of everything. Once again, I'm a web guy, and aesthetically I just hate it. I just hate those icons. I'm sorry, I just hate them. So I get rid of them. But when you get an assignment one, it's got like a certain little look. It's got like a protractor on it and a pencil or something like that. Mine will always have this little yellow assignment flag on it. And then the link will be colored blue so you know to click on it. But I will list the assignment basically in this fashion. So the general thing you're doing is submit an internet article reflection. And then I will detail what it is you need to do to be successful. Okay, so this one says, find this, do this, do this. And if you do that, and you do all the stuff that it says, and you turn it in on time, you got your points. It's a no-brainer. And a lot of the work is going to be just that easy. Just a matter of doing it, sitting down and doing it. The objective isn't the difficulty of the work. The objective is really to get you thinking about things and understanding things. So if you leave here understanding more about IT and its role in the world, then I've succeeded. Right? And that's my goal for you guys. All right. Just to finish up the syllabus thing here as fast as possible. Make sure that you guys have access to email. I prefer that if you contact me via email, you use your gateway emails to do it, not personal. Just because it establishes a baseline. Whenever I send out course announcements, they'll always go to your email address. My suggestion to you is you want to check in on Blackboard at least a couple times a week to check on things and turn stuff in. It shows me that you're active. I can see all your activity on there. And always check your email every day. I would say multiple times a day. If you don't have it loaded up on your phone, I suggest that you do. The Google Mail app works pretty well. So, all right. If you need help from disability support services, and I don't want that to scare you, it doesn't mean that you have something wrong with you. We have what we call our learning success centers at each of the major campuses. So Gateway's got one over in the Lake Building. There's one in Elkhorn, and there's one in Kenosha. And these are just basically environments where you can go for tutoring, right? That's what a lot of people think it's. They're going there because I need help with my math and I can't do it. Well, yes, there are people there that can help you. And in fact, we have IT people there that are current and former students that can help you out as well. But really, it's just a space where you can go and work, where it's quiet, and not be hassled, and the internet's good. So keep that in mind. If you do need any other services, you can always pursue those. I'll let you guys read some of this other stuff about Title IX, internet usage, pandemics, responsibilities. It's kind of on you to know how to navigate the gateway systems. However, when you're new, it's very daunting because there's so many systems to learn. So if you're confused about anything, ask. Ask another student, ask an instructor, ask somebody in the hallway. You'd be surprised how many people will stop and help you. If you guys run into problems with anything, so I have the tech support number up there, you can log into our support system here at Gateway and put in a support ticket. So let's say you can't get to email, or you can't get to Blackboard, or like last semester I had this weird thing where people were turning in homework and uploading like zip files, and they would never finish uploading. And so you can go to the support website and just say, hey, I can't upload my stuff to Blackboard. And then if you want, you could CC me on it so I know that you're having problems, that you're not like slacking on your work. And then they can help you. What I am always impressed with our tech support people, most all of which are current or former Gateway students, so we hire a lot of our people here, is how quickly they respond. I've literally been in the classroom, my projector's not working, I put in a support ticket, 30 seconds later, Matt's walking through the door with his iPad. Oh, it just popped up on my iPad, I thought I'd come in and help you. I'm like, oh my God, that's amazing, you know. But they do respond pretty quick, just so you guys know. All right, you guys know how to get the Blackboard. Course calendar will be provided next week. I'm going to have that in the course shell. So what we need to do now that we finished with the syllabus, and I'm sorry it took so long, but there's a lot of information to go through, is I need you all to go to the discussion board within the course shell, if you haven't done so already, and you can get there either from the left side menu or follow this link, which will take you directly there. And then when you get here, you want to create a thread. You guys watching me here? I don't want to lose you in the process. When you get to the discussion board, click Create Thread, and you can, I'm just going to say Syllabus. Hi, I have received the syllabus, and I will obey everything you say and bring you donuts, or something like that. Just tell me that you got the syllabus and you received it. All right, so you want me to review how to get there? Are you guys all good?
Yeah. You can do it.
Sure. So from Unit 0, you can either click on this link, or you can come up here to the sidebar and go to the discussion board, and then you'll have to like locate the forum. One thing you guys need to know about these discussion boards, obviously, is anything you write in there, everybody else can see, right? Obviously. And that, generally speaking, I'm not a big user of these in my course shells, but for a course like this, we will have one discussion board thing to do each week that'll be worth 1 point.
So we just post this?
Yep. So once you click in there, what you need to do is, you don't want to click on somebody else's, just create a thread, to create your own thread, name it, so you just put like whatever you want up here, received, syllabus, whatever, you know, whatever you type in there, type me a message, and then hit submit. That's all you have to do, nothing fancy here. All right, so I need you, all of you to do this. You actually earn a point by doing this. So if you guys have already done it, yay, you got a point. 1 down, 99 to go. Right? Well, it's not nothing. All right. All right, so assuming you guys have already done that, let's please go back to Unit 0, and then I want to point out 2 things before we move on to our next kind of like activity. The first thing is there's this introduction discussion board too. What I want you guys to all do is please don't do it now because we're going to use the time for something else. So do it when you get home. And after you post stuff, make sure you go through and read everybody's posting. And if like nobody's posted yet, come back in a day or two and get to know people. Because what's going to happen is you guys are going to be in classes together for the next couple of years or so, and you will get to know each other. And it's really good to have a network of people that you know that are doing the same thing that you're doing. And getting to who knows, maybe your lost soulmate or brother or whatever it is hanging out here. Trailer Park Boys. I don't know. I've been binging that one, so my mind's like. All right, so do that one when you get home. But what we're going to do now is we're going to do a little bit of an activity, and I like the way that this room is set up because you guys are already all paired up. So I'm going to ask you guys to each pair up with the person you're sitting next to, so it's kind of like a no-brainer. The only one that's going to be weird is this table where we have, well, you guys have to figure out, if you're going like this or with this, but everybody needs to pair up. And I guess I'm not sure who you're going to pair up with, but maybe you should be part of a group of 3. All right? So here's what you're going to do. This is your task. I'm going to give you 5 minutes to complete this. However, we are not going to present our findings until next week. All right? Unless we can speak. All right, so here's what you're going to do. You are each going to interview each other. What I would suggest is you take notes somehow. You want to do it on the screen? Pencil and paper? Well, it's up to you. You want to do it on your phone? I don't care. You want to just remember it? That's fine too. But what I want you to do is interview the other person, all these questions, and then flip. And so when we present it, so for example, let's say you're my partner, let's say, hey, this is Joe. Joe is Joe. He's 24 years old. He is currently misspelling occupation on the PowerPoint. Let me fix that.
So when you're introducing the other person to the class, instead of yourself or what?
Yeah, you're gonna present the other person, because it's always kind of nerve-wracking when you go, hi, my name is, and you know what I mean? But if you're talking about somebody else, no problem. So what I want you to do is, and if there's something you don't want to share, like if you want people to know where you live, you don't have to say I live at 2243 55th Avenue. You don't have to say any of that. Just say I live in Kenosha County.
There's some weird people out there.
Yeah, no, you're right. So share what you want to share. But I like to do this because this is kind of interesting. Aside from getting to know each other, I'm also kind of collecting data. Because the demographic in this room is pretty young.
Yep.
And I look at questions like this. Like, what age were you when you first touched the computer? For some of you, it might be, I don't know, 1 month old, right? She asked me when that was for me. I was well in my 20s before I even touched it. It shows how much of a different world it is, right? So, go ahead and take about 5 to 10 minutes. Really what it should be is no more than 5 minutes in each direction. Okay, so partner up, do this. Sure, absolutely. You know what? That's a marvelous idea. Yeah, I'll take this slide. I'll just put it right up on Blackboard. So like a plan?
What is your
I work in QP right now, but I'm ready to work.
so we'll just say
It'll be near the bottom of Unit 0 when I post it. No. This is something we're just going to do verbally in class. There's nothing to turn in, and there's no points attached to it. No points. What's that? One more time.
Where are the guys?
I'm just about to post them. I haven't quite done it yet. Okay, I'm going to put those right back on screen, you guys.
You don't know if this is a game.
It is at the very bottom of Unit 0 in humongous format.